Okay, guys, I'm not sure where I lost the stream. Apparently, I lost the stream a while ago. I'm pulling up Twitch right now because I was set to be streaming earlier. Huh. Got an hour and a half in. Not sure where it cut out. I'm going to be looking into that. This is now part 2 at this point. Trying to see. That didn't work. So I was trying to see what happened there. But yeah, apparently the stream ended up dying on me. But yeah, the whole thing with I was trying to mention I was actually answering a question in a Discord about whether or not it's even worth purchasing 2020 at this point. And again, it's gonna be all a matter of how much flying you're gonna do in a month. Is somebody feasibly going to be able to put in 200 hours in a month to make it really worth your while? If somebody can, absolutely. If not, no. It may not be worth it. So, we're approaching our top of descent. We're still a little bit of a ways out. About 60 miles out at this point. But yeah, I'm not sure where I lost the stream. I will end up having to look into it here a little bit. Huh. About 40 miles from... Okay, so we didn't lose too much at least. That's good. I'm just not sure what happened there to cause that. Cause Streamlabs to just outright stop streaming. I never hit the button. Oh well. I wonder if there's a hotkey on my keyboard. If so, I don't remember setting that up. I'm checking that right now. There's a mouse button. What the hell is mouse? Aha, it's one of... I think I know what it is. I'm going to disable stop stream and start stream. I don't want those on mouse buttons 4 and 5, because that is kind of... I'm pretty sure I know what happened. While I was on PMDG's forum, I hit, believe what ends up being mouse button 4 and mouse button 5. Try to find something that... won't do anything here. Yep, okay. I know exactly what happened. Yeah, I was in the PMDG forums, and... So, what it actually is on my mouse, I have a fairly nice mouse. It's the EVGA X20, is what I'm using right now. Fairly nice little mouse. It's a hybrid wireless Bluetooth wired mouse. It can do all 3 functions. I've got it currently functioning in wired mode. But it has your mouse button 1, 2, 3, so your left, right, middle, plus a DPI and a profile button, and I just hit D, I believe that's the DPI, and it has a sniper mode button. In addition to that, it also has 2 more buttons that are programmable, but are by default page back, page forward. I am so used to those buttons that when I'm going around on Chrome, between pages on Chrome, if I want to go back a page, I just hit mouse button forward. Without even thinking. Want to go forward to the page I just left, mouse button 5. Turned out Streamlabs had those set to being mouse button 4 being start stream, mouse button 5 being stop stream. So when I hit mouse button forward to go back to the page I was just on, namely forward to the page I had just left, it apparently stopped the stream. That is rectified. Good to know that was what that was. I probably also accidentally did a stream a while ago which I don't even think is on Twitch anymore, that I accidentally started streaming because I hit mouse button 4 while having Streamlabs open. So, now that I know how those 2 events happened, so we are now 24 miles from Viper. We're about to begin our descent into Detroit. I'm actually going to turn on seatbelt lights a little bit early here. But yeah. For anyone that's looking into purchasing one of the 2 flight sims, again, I'm excluding older ones like FSX. If you're looking to buying any of the flight sims from Microsoft, right now I would just lean towards I would lean towards 24 on the basis that yes, you have to wait that month, but at the same time, can you justify spending $60, $80, or $90, $120 on something you may only get, depending on how much you're flying it? If you're somebody like me who's a bit more into it, I might fly about 20 more hours in the next month, so I might get 20 more hours in 2020. Is it going to be worth spending $3 an hour when you could wait that month and spend that on $2024? And then you're guaranteed to have multiple years worth of gameplay, or worth of time to get your something like 200-ish hours in. So, kind of the stuff to consider. You have less to worry about with like the payware aircraft, though. Unless you're buying a payware aircraft to bridge the gap between another payware aircraft coming out. But I can guarantee you that this particular airframe will be flyable in 2024, even if it's not flyable right away. It'll be flyable at some point in the near future. I'm planning to at least try it in 2024, see what happens. There's no guarantees. I know PMDG will be working on it as well. Oh, Auto ATC. Thank you for scaring me. Auto ATC, you did not tell me anything useful. Just tell me that if it's offline, you're not going to get anything. Didn't even tell me to fly my arrival. So, useful as ever. So we are coming through Viper. We're going to probably be maxing our speed out on this descent at about 290 knots, just given the fact we do have a restriction at Wolfman of 280. And here goes our descent. We're also very close to our overspeed. So we will not be accelerating very quickly. We're also aiming for 24,000 feet. Wow, in a very, very, very short period of time. This will be a fairly steep descent. Also, that crazy headwind has finally died off a little. So we're getting back into more reasonable ground speeds. Yeah, we're actually probably only going to max out at 280 for the airspeed. Wow. Yeah, basically what I'm trying to watch is that red bar on the airspeed, because that is overspeed. That, and it's Wolfman is our speed restriction. Okay, so we are actually going to make it to about 290. And we can miss the flight level 240 restriction. Now that I see these between restrictions, I'm going to change these. So I want to be at the bottom altitude, preferably. Especially since we have... What is that? Hillwood? And Chister? That close, as close together as they are. I'd rather be at the 8,000 than descending in the 3,000 feet in that short period. Geez, so Top Gun, we're going to be doing 280 knots, and then we basically have to, like, slam the brakes on as we go through 10,000 at that point. That's going to be nuts. So we're going to make our first altitude restriction as well. This is a self-imposed one. It is supposed to be at or above 240. We should be able to make the 240. The speed restriction is not self-imposed. That is an actual restriction. Okay. Please get that speed down. The wind's not helping it either. Got a little bit of turbulence going on here. Alright, now that we've gone through Wolfman, we do at least have a little bit of time here. Because Mav, we don't actually have any restrictions. Those winds just getting worse. They're out of the north. Why is the northern runway active? Wow, this turbulence. I do have the turbulence set to realistic, so this turbulence is fairly realistic. It's not as bad as I've seen. The worst I've seen, I have flown into a few of the hurricanes in the sim. The fact that we at least have the actual projected track wobbling as much as it is a bit nuts, especially for the winds as calm as they are. But trust me, in those hurricanes, it wobbles even more. In fact, it gets so severe it can actually loop back on itself. Alright, so at flight level 180, we will do our first calculation for landing. Although our VREF should be 132. Actually, we've already got our VREF, so I'm not going to do a landing calculation, I don't think. We will. I just want to double check, make sure everything's adding together, or looking great together. I swear the turbulence is just getting worse. Drag required after Top Gun. You think? adds up. Over to local pressure. We have to maintain 280 until Top Gun. Immediately after Top Gun, we're just slowing to 240 with, we're going to go full speed brakes on that because we have to slow down rapidly. And we are just under 70 miles from the airport. If it wasn't for the fact there is a cloud deck here, we would be able to see, we might actually be able to start seeing the airport region. Actually be able to start seeing the city already. Similar to Boston, we're probably going to end up with a very similar cloud deck on our approach, similar to our departure from Boston. Alright, I'm going to actually deploy our spoilers already. I know it's going to slow us down, but auto throttle will pick that speed back up a little. It'll notice the speed drop. There we go. It's going to start kicking in. Since we don't have a controller to assign us an not an altitude, a speed. We're gonna have one more crazy one. We're gonna have one more speed restriction. It's not as crazy, at least. It's gonna be 210 knots at Ghost. Ghost. And then Rider is 210 as well. Turn this guy to approach mode. Alright, we're ready for the significant slowdown of 40 knots, and it's going to be a rapid slowdown. Since we have less than 12 miles to do that slowdown. Yes, I know drag is required. I can't do flaps because we're too fast. I have the speed brakes already deployed as far as I can go. So stop yelling at me for it. Under speed restriction, but that is fine. Alright, here we go. And yes, we are now officially overspeeding the airframe. because we deployed our flaps down to flaps 5. That is how badly I want us to slow down, is I'm going to put all the drag I can in. And we're actually going to reduce speed to 230 now. We're going to go spoilers back to armed. And rely on those flaps. We're going to go, no, not the fuel pump. Landing lights. Turn the logo lights on as well at this point. One final grab of everything. Good deal. Or one more grab of everything. We're through 10,000 feet. So landing lights are on. Runway turnoffs are on. Logo lights on. Speed to 220. And then at 10 miles from Goss, we're going to reduce our speed to 210, which will allow us to bring back down our next notch of flaps. Okay. We are done with speed restrictions now. When I say we're done with them, we're actually at our already set for our next speed restriction, which is our next 2. We are in the clouds now. Wow. Now we're just waiting to pick up the DME, at which point we will switch over to CTAF, because we should be in range at that point. Getting down to 7,000, we will be maintaining 7,000 until we turn on to final. It's not until we get to Tigers that we need to actually be any lower at this point. Let's go ahead and bring this guy down. Not that there's anything to visualize at this point. Double checking minimums. So you got those set. We do have the localizer frequency of 111 the decimal 5. Verifying altimeter. Altimeter has updated. We will update to the new altimeter setting. And then once we begin our turn onto our long final approach, we'll have a over 25-mile or 24-mile final. we will update our information again. Okay, so it's gives at 5,000. We are 27 miles out. Alright. Final calculation. It's about 131 for it. We will actually pull the speed back to 180. Actually, no, we'll pull it back to 200. Give us a little bit more speed until we get to gives. Give us a little bit more speed and a little bit of buffer. Not that this actually does anything, but if it was real life, you would want those. And we're loading an airport. I'm assuming that was the little one on the north end of the city. And there's our DME. Detroit traffic, Delta 3993 on approach for ILS runway 21 left, Detroit. And that's going to be loading Detroit. And when I say Detroit, I mean the Wayne Metro.
Delta, UPS on clear 21 left.
What? Somebody is saying unclear 21 left. Okay. I'm assuming somebody's on the ground getting ready to take off down there. Yeah, there's a UPS on the ground now. I'm going to pull up a little bit here. I want to see where they're actually at. I'm gonna at least go through initial procedures here. So we're gonna arm localizer mode. I'll give him a 20-mile call in a moment. Detroit traffic, Delta 3993 is currently 20 miles out for ILS runway 21 left. Detroit. Give them that update here since they're warning me that they're trying to use that runway. As I'll switch to approach mode here. I don't like this wind. I wish that we could use the other runways, but yeah. gonna reduce speed further just to hopefully give them some time. So I kind of want to know their intentions at this point. They're an MD-11 too, so they're a big plane. So I know what they were doing. They were crossing the runway. They're going to be taking off. They should be able to take off before we even arrive. Especially with the speed reduction I've done. We'll be going flaps full very quickly here. Actually, we'll probably even just go flaps 30 for a while.
Detroit traffic, UPS 5081 is holding short, 21 left, Whiskey South Detroit.
Detroit traffic, Delta 3993, fully established on the localizer for runway 21 left, 10 mile final, Detroit. Go ahead and go. Go flaps 30 as well. Since they're holding short, we can land on it. Is it still raining out there? No. And I'm going to reduce speed to 150. Let's go ahead and go flaps. Full up this time. Detroit traffic, Delta 3993 on 5 mile final, runway 21 left. Detroit. Take over. Oh, geez. Don't leg out on me. Alright, here we go. You have to be very careful with this one here since we're dealing with that tailwind. Go steer cockpit at this point. Visual the runway.
Approaching minimums. 200. Minimums. 20. 10.
Bit harder than I wanted, but we're on the ground. Holy crap, that lag. 2 in reverse. Okay, stop lagging, please. 60 knots, so we'll disengage those reversers and we will go toe brakes. We will vacate the runway. Whiskey 2. Detroit traffic, Delta 3993 is clear of runway 21 left. Detroit.
And Detroit traffic, UPS 5081, be lining up, 21 left. Detroit.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a gate. We'll go Whiskey Juliet 2. Let's grab up Alpha 5. Whiskey Juliet. Whiskey Juliet, Juliet 8. Detroit traffic, Delta 3993, taxiing to gate Alpha 5 via Whiskey Juliet, Juliet 8. Detroit.
And Detroit traffic, UPS 5081, heavies departing 21 left. Detroit.
We'll actually poke our heads out of the cockpit briefly, because this will be an easy thing to watch. Or attempt to watch, it's kind of hard to see. For visibility purposes. There they are. Yeah, it's a big boy. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful to watch. Here's Juliet. Third left or third right will be ours, actually. No, just turn those back to on for now. So welcome to Detroit. We do have add-on scenery here for Detroit. This is payware scenery downloaded from AnyBuilds, or at least the AnyBuilds launcher. I have to double check the actual producer of this particular scenery. It may even be AnyBuilds themselves. We're going to be parking at Concourse Alpha of McNamara Terminal, which is right there. It's the second longest concourse in the world. at just shy of a single statute mile in length. Gate Alpha 5, we will be taxiing to, will be on our left after we make this right turn.
Detroit traffic, UPS 5081 is clear of 21 left. Detroit.
So here's Juliet 7. We are going to be taxiing to Juliet 8, which will be our next right. And then one of our first ones on the left here is going to be our gate. We'll go external. There we go. So there's Alpha 5. We're on the far south end of Concourse Alpha here. Don't stop again. Give it a little bit of it here. This is something nice I like about these really nice sceneries from any builds. You can actually see which airline uses which gate on the actual jetway itself. So the concourse we are parking at here is the Alpha Concourse. This is essentially the easiest way to describe how Detroit is laid out here for the different airlines. Is you have Delta and then everyone else. So McNamara Terminal, its concourse is Alpha Bravo Charlie. With the Bravo concourse, with the Alpha concourse being your mainline flights, including multiple international gates. We're going to be parking at the line that says 737-78, U70, 75, 90, 221, and 3. That is the line we want, because we are a 737-800. Just a little bit more. There we go. We have arrived at our gate. But yeah, this is McNamara Terminal. This is Alpha Concourse. It's the mainline terminal here, or mainline concourse here. Bravo and Charlie, we actually saw those two both in the distance. If I go external, which I will actually do here momentarily. Oh, let me guess, the jetway is inhibited because I still have it set for stairs. We'll switch that to jetway. So we'll request our jetway. This one is working. I know this one will work. The reason I have some of the sceneries for different airports is because a lot of the built-in ones have broken jetways. It's like if we actually go external here, we'll actually get a bit better of a view of the layout. So, as I said, Concourse Alpha, this goes all the way down for a while. As I said, it's a mile long. So, a statute mile in that direction is the end of Concourse Alpha. I do have some aircraft parked at the northern end of the terminal. You can see just off to the left of up at the top left, that is Concourses Bravo and Charlie. Those are the Delta regional terminals. So again, those do have the Delta logo on them, but they're for Embraers and CRJs. They're going to typically be Endeavor, SkyWest, and Republic parking there. You may also see Endeavor, SkyWest, and Republic park here at Concourse Alpha as well. And again, these ones, when I say those three, I'm specifically talking with Delta liveries. A bit further, we can't quite see it from here, is going to be Concourse Delta. Delta Concourse is literally everyone else. So, primarily parking down here on Alpha, it's going to be primarily Delta. There are a handful of other craft that will park down here, but it's mostly just Delta. You might see, like, some... Let's see. You might see potentially Turkish, Iceland Air. Maybe, I think you might even get Korean down here. So, that's primarily who you're going to see down here. Air France. Those are the kinds of people you're going to, or kinds of airlines you're actually going to see parking at Concourse Alpha. So we will go cold and dark here at Detroit. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect from the VATSIM network. And then finally, pop back in here, do another external view briefly. So despite some technical difficulties, we've completed the flight here. The full statistics for that flight: block time was 2 hours. We were in the air for 1 hour and 39 minutes. Stream would have been about the full 2 hours, a little bit over that. Other than, as I said, it did, due to some technical difficulties, did get broken into two. Landing rate, decent amount of consistency between the two with the landing rate at about 300-ish. Actually, there's a lot more discrepancy here than I thought. I'm more in line with the G's one, I think. I don't like that landing. It was not my best landing, but yeah. But we are on the ground here. Next flight will be from here to Minneapolis, St. Paul. And then we will get into probably our longest leg until we get to the return section. So that's it for this part of the flight. Just a little bit more with Detroit. This is one I do know a lot more about than some of these other ones. As I said, primarily a Delta hub. You do have some other operations. Northern end, you do have Spirit, Frontier, American. You do have Jazz for Air Canada. You do also, have Lufthansa does land up there, as does United. So all four mainline Americans, big mainline American airlines do land here. I do even believe Alaskan comes into here. So yeah, all the big American airlines do come to Detroit. Primarily it's Delta. Delta does have about 70% of the metro traffic. So a lot of traffic into Detroit is Delta. And it's quite telling with how big of a concourse you have here. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Next week we will be flying this aircraft into Minneapolis. Next time, I can't say for sure what I will do next time. I do have at least one other one planned this week. I'll plan to do probably 2 777 flights this week. Probably do an early one with the flight from Seattle to Anchorage. And then a later one, probably Saturday night into Sunday, will be probably either Kennedy or Newark to England. So, hope you guys enjoyed the flight. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I'll work on getting this as well as a few other things over to YouTube tonight. Well, probably not tonight, but I'll work on getting them over there as soon as I can. Have a good one, everyone, and I will see you guys next time.